Starts up the middle, bounces left, stiff arm, walk the dog, touchdown, Zeke Elliott.
Your Cowboys just keep rolling along.
It's extremely special. Couldn't ask for nothing better.
They're as close as a team can get.
We're in a good run right now. Got remarkable chemistry in this locker room.
Everybody supports everybody. We show love.
Can the boys keep it rolling against Big Ben and the explosive Steelers offense?
Directing traffic downfield. Roethlisberger will throw. End zone. Antonio Brown.
You're going to have to be at your best. The margin for error against him is extremely small.
You know, it's a man versus another man.
The Cowboys look to roll off their 8th straight. And it all starts right now on Cowboys Game Day.
Let the good times roll into Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, PA. It's the Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers as Dallas looks to match an all-time regular season high with 8 straight regular season victories today. A 3:25 kickoff in Pittsburgh, and welcome into Cowboys Game Day, the only live and local Cowboys television pregame show in North Texas. I'm Bill Jones, along with the Manster, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, Randy White, who was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but got to Texas as quick as he could. Right, Randy?
I got here as quick as I could, Bill. But, you know, my dad was a Steeler fan growing up, and then his kid get drafted by the Cowboys. We play him in 1975 in the Super Bowl. I think we converted him over for that game.
But was he was a Steelers fan until you got drafted?
Until I got drafted, and we played him. I think he was a Steelers fan until we played him in the Super Bowl. Then we got him back on our side.
And we're not going to talk about those 2 Super Bowls that Randy played against the Steelers, although the Cowboys, of course, won a Super Bowl, and that was Larry Brown's Super Bowl. And so happy Larry Brown Day, everybody. I've got a prediction at the end of the show that might surprise you about a young Cowboys cornerback. But right now, let's head to Heinz Field. Let's bring in, live from Pittsburgh, getting ready for Cowboys and Steelers, Keith Russell, who traveled with the team up to Pittsburgh. Hello, Keith.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Randy. It's a beautiful day here at Heinz Field. You know, yesterday in the hotel, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan reminded me we have a record 6 Super Bowl titles. I said, guess what? We're working on number 6. It could come this year. And for the Cowboys, a beautiful day. Hopefully a beautiful day for that offense as well. Now, the Steelers defense gets a lot of credit through the years. We know what they've represented. We know the names. Mean Joe Green, L.C. Greenwood, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount, Donnie Shell. But this Steelers defense is not that Steelers defense from Randy White's day. This is not the Steel Curtain. Remember, the Steelers lost to the Eagles earlier this season, 34-3. So if that Eagles offense could put up 34 points on this Steelers defense, imagine what the Cowboys can do. But the Cowboys know tradition. They know history. They know even though they're undefeated on the road, it's going to be tough to get a win today in Pittsburgh against that defense, and they expect the Steelers to bring it.
They've been known over the years for their defense, and I don't think this year's any different. They've got a great front 4, a great front 7, you can say. So we're excited for the matchup as we're every week.
Well, they got a lot of great players. They're a physical team. They got a great linebacker core. They can run. They can hit. So, I mean, I think it's a great matchup for us. It's going to be a good challenge.
Do you guys expect any kind of extra special effort out of Pittsburgh?
We don't know. I'm sorry. We're not the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're the Dallas Cowboys. We just focus on us. That's it.
Now, I've been having some fun today on Twitter, talking about Heinz Field and all the puns, where the Cowboys won't have to play catch-up because their offense has been like spicy mustard, scoring on the opening drive in every game but 2 this season. May O prevail with the Cowboys' #1 rushing attack. We need to relish a shot to win 8 straight games for the first time since 1977. And, fellas, what I think it's going to come down to is the Cowboys' offensive line taking that Steelers front 7 and knocking them on their buns. Hot dog, Bill and Randy. I'm ready for a good one.
Wow, that was pretty impressive there. But, Randy, let's talk about this defense. You know, Zeke Elliott talks about those linebackers who can run for Pittsburgh. I think he's talking specifically about his fellow Ohio State Buckeye. That would be number 50, Ryan Shazier. And he was been hurt earlier this year, but he typifies what Pittsburgh can do on defense. Now they've got James Harrison back. He got a couple of sacks last week, too.
Well, Bill, it's going to be key, like we say every week, that offensive line of ours. You know, when you get we get through that first level and get up to the second level and get hats on these linebackers, they don't make as many tackles. So one of the keys again today is going to be our offensive line and their ability to knock these Steelers off the line of scrimmage and create some room. And if they do, we're going to have a lot of success running that football.
You know, this is a very important game for Pittsburgh. They've lost 3 games in a row, but they are tough at home. And on defense, they've only got 11 sacks on the season. The Blitzburg reputation of the past, they haven't been able to get to the quarterback much this year.
No, but I tell you what, I think, you know, they're going to watch film. They're going to watch that Eagles game and see how the Eagles pressured us. And I'd look today, if we get in third and long situations, which hopefully we don't, we're running the football. But if we do, Pittsburgh's going to bring the heat. But I think we're ready for it. I think Dak, he handled that. They're ready to get rid of the ball quick, find the open man, and if you heard him on that, now the Pittsburgh defense is really in trouble.
You alluded to it. It's so fun to watch Zeke run. Now, he didn't have a 100-yard game last week against Cleveland, but he was very effective. Only played 3 quarters in the game. And against this Pittsburgh defense, or against any defense, when you can run the football, that travels in the NFL, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can run the football. If he can run the football and he's gaining 5 yards a carry, I mean, if he can continue to do that, that breaks any defense's back. So that's going to be the key when I'm watching today is are we able to move that football against the Steelers? They're going to be tough. They're going to come out fired up at home. But I tell you what, the way our offense works is we just keep grinding, wearing them down. It's on the other end we better be careful, which we'll talk about in a minute, is we can't let the Steelers get any big plays with Big Ben.
And, of course, the offensive line is the key to this Cowboys team. There was concern throughout the week about the left side of the offensive line, Tyron Smith and Ronald Leary. Leary had the concussion a week ago. He got cleared on Friday. He was at practice, as was Tyron Smith. So things look good as far as that is concerned for the Cowboys. But Dak Prescott handling the blitz, it's something he was able to finally be able to do late in that game against Philadelphia and then last week against Cleveland. He seems to be coming along there.
Yeah, Bill. I mean, that's it. When they're bringing heat like that, they're gambling, right? You're gambling. They're gambling that the quarterback cannot find the open receiver because somebody's open. And Dak's been able to do that. He's got the experience a little bit now in those types of situations. So, you know, you hurt them with that. And like I said, then you break their backs.
And using all his weapons as he did against the Eagles and last week, Cole Beasley, Jason Witten had a huge game a week ago. Even Bryce Butler, Terrence Williams getting into the act. But Dez Bryant only had 1 catch last week against Cleveland, and he's heard some criticism about his sideline behavior, and he tried to answer those critics this week.
I feel like I've been misunderstood, you know, for so long. First off, I really don't supposed to be in the league right now, according to a lot of people, you know, but I'm here. You know, a lot of people, you know, try to say that, you know, I'm a me guy. I've never been. That's not, you know, how I was taught. We care for one another. We want to see everybody do good.
Well, and Dez Bryant has done good in his career, and he's right. A lot of people, when he was drafted by the Cowboys, said, well, he won't last 4 or 5 years in this league, and here he is in his 7th year in the league. He's going to get his opportunities. He just has to be patient.
Yeah, he does, Bill. I mean, he's an emotional guy, and he's got the kind of attitude, you know, you got to control it, but he's got the kind of attitude you want. Any tight situation, you know what? He doesn't run from it. He wants the ball. He wants them to throw it to me. And I don't think he's a selfish player at all. I think he's a team player, and like he said, you know, you misinterpret that energy, but I think he's been able to corral that enthusiasm, that energy, and focus a little better and matured some, and he's really getting close to becoming that complete football player that we know he can be.
And I love the way they showed it on television last week, how Dak went over to the sideline and calmed him down when he was upset about not getting the pass interference call against Cleveland. All right, we're just getting started here on Cowboys Game Day. Coming up, the great quarterback debate heats up as Tony Romo appears to be very close to playing. But first, time for our Wingstop trivia question. Dak Prescott is just the 3rd rookie quarterback in the last 60 years to win 7 straight starts. Can you name the other 2? Here's a hint. One of them is a former Dallas Cowboy. We'll have the answer after the break. You got that answer, right, Randy?
I got that one, Bill.
Who would that be?
We're really going to talk about the quarterbacks again? Are we really going to do that?
In our Wingstop trivia question, we told you Dak Prescott is just the 3rd rookie quarterback in the last 60 years to win 7 straight starts. Did you know the other 2? Well, one of them, today's opponent, Ben Roethlisberger, 13 in a row. And former Cowboys quarterback Kyle Orton with the Bears had 8 straight. But the burning question of this week, How's Tony Romo looking?
Yeah, again, with Tony, it's just a day-by-day evaluation. He had a good day yesterday.
I think he's able to do everything.
He's just doing his thing, you know. Off the side, he looked great.
Looks like Tony looked pretty good, slinging the ball around. Got some juice to him.
Tony looked good. Tony always looks good, though. He's throwing the ball, maybe even better before he got hurt. So, I think he's looking good.
The great quarterback debate is coming to a head very soon. Welcome to Cowboys Game Day, Cowboys and Steelers. You've got Bill Jones and Randy White here in studio. We've got live at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Keith Russell. And let's talk about the quarterbacks a little bit. Tony Romo looking good in practice, full practices all week, was listed as questionable on the injury report for the first time all season on Friday. He was the scout team quarterback this week. Keith, what's your take on what's going to happen here?
Well, my take is he probably won't suit up today. But then the Cowboys have to come correct. They have to come with the real deal. Is it going to be a case where Tony Romo is going to be on the sidelines as a backup quarterback? Because that's what he is right now. You cannot take out any quarterback, whether it's a rookie or a veteran, who wins 7 straight games with this football team. And that would be Dak Prescott. The bottom line is, if a person has straight A's, you can't tell them they're not on the honor roll. That would be Dak Prescott. You can't say you've dumbed down the offense and keep saying it, because no matter how much you dumb it down, if you win 7 straight games, you got to keep rolling. That would be Dak Prescott. So the question becomes, is Romo comfortable enough to sit on that sideline with his helmet in his hand instead of on his head? Because until Dak Prescott falters, and I mean falters for a while, falters big time, Tony Romo's not getting back in that football game. It's that simple. He can run around with his shoulder pads. He can throw tight spirals, and they say he whizzes the ball across the field. He's not getting back in that game right now. Right now, Dak Prescott is your starting quarterback, like it or not. I know a lot of Romo enthusiasts are out there hoping that Romo is the guy who gets the glory at the end. But right now, Dak Prescott is your starting quarterback, not Tony Romo, and sooner or later the Cowboys are just going to have to flat out say it.
Well, Randy, what do you think those coaches are thinking out there at the Star?
Well, I think this thing is going to work its way out. I think, Dak, what he's got to do is continue to do what he's been doing, go out there and control what he can control. Hopefully he doesn't listen to the media and all this and to become distracted by the quarterback's thing, who's going to play, is Tony going to be in there? And Tony's just got to continue to get better and get himself well. And if he's 100%, the coaches are going to make a decision at some point in time of who gives this football team the best chance to win going forward. And then that's where we're going to see what happens. I don't think you take that. I agree with Keith. I don't think you take Dak out right now. He's got too much going. The team's got too much going. But, a lot of things happen. A lot of things change in this league. We've watched it a long time. So it'll play itself out at some point.
And it's going to play itself out pretty soon, it would appear. All right, coming up here on Cowboys Game Day, Sean Lee's back where it all began. And Randy has some advice for the Cowboys on how to get Big Ben to the ground. It's next on Cowboys Game Day.
It's time for the Nissan On the Road Report. Shop ChooseNissan.com today.
Heinz Field, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's the Cowboys and the Steelers. First time the Cowboys have played in Pittsburgh in 8 years. Back in 2008, they lost to the Steelers there. Beat them here 4 years ago. And back to Cowboys Game Day. Bill Jones, Randy White, and Keith Russell is live at Heinz Field. If the Cowboys are going to win today, they got to contain Big Ben, the quarterback for the Steelers. Mr. Roethlisberger. Keith Russell, how do they do that?
I love the way you call me Russell, Bill, so I'm going to launch right into it. Russell talking about Roethlisberger. You got to take the batteries out of that clock. It's that simple. Big Ben is a little long in the tooth now. He's had injury problems, but people still remember when he was a rookie and he took over for a starter in Pittsburgh, Tommy Maddox, and he got his shot, and the Steelers won 13 straight games that year. So he knows all about this Dak and Romo thing. But the Cowboys also realize this is a guy who can create plays with his feet, has a dynamic arm, and when that Pittsburgh offense is going, it's awfully tough to beat this Steelers football team. So, yes, they have to get around them, they have to smother them, they have to cover them, and they simply have to take them down.
That's a great challenge for us. He's a guy that doesn't go down easily. Extends plays, not necessarily with his legs outside the pocket, but just holding up, being strong, making his throws.
Just hit him harder, trying to get him on the ground. We're bigger than him. So, it's a man versus another man.
I got so much respect for that guy. He is a real warrior. Man, he stays in that pocket. He doesn't look at the rush. He's looking downfield. He's tough as nails. God, I admire that toughness.
For us, you're going to have to be at your best. The margin for error against him is extremely small because of how great he is.
The one thing you don't want is Roethlisberger shaking off that would-be tackler and firing that long pass down the field to Antonio Brown. And so, Randy, as a Hall of Famer, I have a question for you. You played that position that went after these quarterbacks with a guy that big, that strong, that elusive, and who makes plays on the run once you don't secure him. What's your best advice for the Cowboys defense today?
Well, I don't know that I played against any quarterbacks that were 6'5", 240 or 250, whatever he weighs. But, when you get in there, you saw it on that little clip. When you get in there, when you get to him, look out, Bill. Here we go. Where we go? Don't worry, I can't get too far over there. You got to grab him, and when you grab him, get a hold of him, and then take your other arm and start swatting that ball and trying to hit that ball out of his hands.
Get out of the way here.
No, you're good, Bill. No. But that's, you can't try to just sling him down or throw him down because it's not going to work. He's too strong. You got to grab him, wrap him up, and then hopefully help comes and you knock him down on the ground.
And by the way, Randy's playing weight was what?
265.
265. 6'4", 265. That's about how big Roethlisberger is.
Yeah, that's
so
about
it would be like
him.
bringing down Randy White out there on the field. How would you tackle Randy White?
I just hit him low. He'd probably go down pretty quick.
Right, some weapons for the Steelers. Keith mentioned Antonio Brown, the running back Le'Veon Bell as well, and Roethlisberger's ability to extend plays and everything. But Antonio Brown is the guy that you got to really watch out for.
Yeah, he's a big play guy, and that's why you have got to disrupt Big Ben's timing. And not just when he scrambles away, he's going to get away. You got to have everybody going towards that football. You got to have somebody in his face all the time because that's when he's most dangerous. He extends that play and hits those long passes, bam, and creates a big plays, and they can score quick.
Boy, 96 Malik Collins really had a game last week. Now, here's my big prediction of the week. All right, this is Larry Brown Day. Cowboys beat the Steelers in Super Bowl 30. Larry Brown had 2 interceptions. Anthony Brown versus Antonio Brown. Huge matchup today. My prediction is the Cowboys are going to win this game. Same score as Super Bowl 30, 27-17. And Anthony Brown, the rookie, will have 2 picks today, just like Larry Brown did back in January of 1996. You like that prediction?
I like that pick, Bill, and I like that. I was going to say that we could get some big turnovers against Ben. He's going to throw them up there for grabs.
Well, and Anthony Brown, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on this 6th-round draft pick out of Purdue today.
Hey, he got no pressure. What's he got to lose? That's what he thinks he's going to get burned. Go out there and turn it loose and go for it. That's what you do.
All right, the key to the Cowboys defense all season long has been everybody running to the football. But there's one key guy, the glue in the middle of that defense. He's the weak side linebacker. He's Sean Lee. He goes back to his hometown, Pittsburgh, today. Played there at Heinz Field, I think, for Upper St. Clair High School in the state championship game back about 12 or 13 years ago. In a way, when he was at college at Penn State, he probably watched a whole lot of Ben Roethlisberger. And now he plays against Roethlisberger, and it's going to be interesting to watch him go home today.
Oh, yeah, Sean Lee's got to be exciting. He's going to be playing in front of a lot of family and friends are going to be there. He's going to want to have another big game. He has a big game every week, but this will be extra special, and he can show that historical Pittsburgh linebackers that they got another one from Pittsburgh that's pretty darn good.
Plays with that steelworkers mentality, doesn't he?
Yeah, he got that little chip on his shoulder, but he's still very smart, and he just seems to be wherever the football is, that's where he is.
All right, coming up here on Cowboys Game Day, Randy's trying to do something he hasn't done in almost 40 years.
In the words of Witten, sponsored by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com today.
It's Cowboys and Steelers, 2 of the greatest franchises in all of sports. And so to be able to be a part of that, what a privilege it is for us. And, this is what football is all about, this Sunday afternoon.
Let's take a look at the International Suit Warehouse NFC East standings. Isn't that a pretty picture, Randy White? The Cowboys tied for the best record in all of football with the New England Patriots at 7-1 at the halfway point of the season. Giants play Monday night against Cincinnati. The Redskins host Minnesota today. The Eagles host Atlanta. Should be interesting this weekend, and there it is. Oh, no. Does Randy have to look at this? The Super Bowl 13 flag at Heinz Field. Of course, that was a 35-31 Steelers win over the Cowboys. As we welcome you back here to Cowboys Game Day, final couple of minutes, Bill Jones, Randy White, and Keith Russell, our midseason MVPs, both offense and defense, and a prediction for today's game. Let's start with you, Keith Russell.
Bill, offensive MVP, Ezekiel Elliott. Dak Prescott has been impressive as a rookie quarterback, but the key to this engine is that running game. When he was drafted, he said he would be the Cowboys' best defense because he would keep the other offense off the field, and that he has been. Defensive MVP, Sean Lee. He makes his homecoming. He has been unstoppable. Everywhere the ball goes, you see number 50. That's my defensive MVP. You see what I'm dressed in, Bill. I don't need to make a prediction. I'm not wearing black and gold. I'm wearing blue and silver. It's that simple.
All right, Randy, your first half offensive MVP.
I'm going with Dak. I tell you what, he stepped into a tough spot and done an excellent job of managing this football team.
And defense, you got Sean Lee.
Sean Lee.
All right, now your prediction, your bold prediction. We're going to go to 8-1.
Hey, we go 8-1 today. We beat the Steelers, and we do something I haven't done, not me, we haven't done in, 40 years? Go eight in a row?
8 straight, that's exactly right.
We got to do it.
All
Today's the day.
And we've got Denver, New Orleans here on CBS 11 starting at noon. The NFL Today is next on CBS 11.
CBS 11, your official Cowboys station.